I'm sorry to use such a clickbaity title. I figured I'd do it. So yeah, I mean, I saw Vaush's stream a little bit earlier, and he was showing clips of Huey Long, and dispelling what it is, about being populist and everything else like that. And it's funny to me because he contradicted himself because he's been one of those type of dudes who's like, well, the Democrats, Republicans are not the same thing. Democrats are better. But then he showed the clip of Huey Long, who's like, well, the only difference between Democrats and Republicans is what side of he's talking about the bark of a tree. And basically, they came from the same tree. And, the thing is, man, it's disheartening. It's disheartening because it's like, oh, well, sometimes he was authoritarian, but ultimately he was okay. I'm like, oh, man. Just disappointing. It's disappointing because it's like, I don't want to be associated with that fool. I don't want to be associated with Vaush because he likes some clips of Huey Long. That's what happens, I think, with politics. It is petty, and I'm being petty right now. But it's like, and of course his chat was like based and everything else like that. Oh, but everyone was sexist back then. I was just like, oh man, it just that hurt. It did hurt. It feels bad because like you don't want to be associated with that nonsense. This fool's going to try to, take it for himself. He's like, well, Nazis took the pagan stuff. They took the Nordicism and they took Huey Long. That's because you guys are shit. So you can say what you will about mud Nazis or whatever exists, but it's like, my man, you have your own people. Why do you need to, co-opt these folks to try to make it seem like they're on your side? I think that's one of the things that happens with politics, and when you get into this politics shit, and then you get disheartened, either because there's cringe people like Vaush who think, oh yeah, well, Huey Long was a great guy. It's like, no, this doesn't belong to you. But then I realized that it's like, you can't be like that with people. You can't. And you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be like that with people and just be selfish and be like, no, he belongs to us. He doesn't belong to anybody else. And it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's the same thing I feel about Malcolm X. It's like, yeah, I appreciate what Malcolm X said. He wouldn't want me around because I'm just a dirty honky. But it's like, I can respect what he said. I can respect his beliefs. But it's like, people pick and choose who they want to believe and who they think would have been on their side. And the older I get, I'm like, I don't know. You realize it's like all those heroes that you had, maybe that they get co-opted by folks and everything else, and then you just kind of feel like, the fuck do I really believe? Is it because I want to look cool and be aesthetically pleasing? Or do I want to actually change things? I think that's something we all need to ask ourselves is, do we actually do it so that we can just convince as many people as we can? Or do we want to actually change stuff? It's a real question, isn't it? Like I said, I can still appreciate Huey Long and all the great deeds he did for the state of Louisiana. But yeah. Anyway, I know that was so petty, wasn't it? Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that. See you later. Goodbye.